All right, so let's look at this next example. X squared minus 10x equals 2. I want to compare it to the one that's in green, which is x squared plus 10x minus 6 equals 0. So if you notice, step number one calls for us to isolate the variable terms, which is x squared and negative 10x. And in this case, it was x squared and 10x. And what we did to do that is we added 6 to both sides, and we're left with x squared plus 10x equals 6, right? So in this case, step one has already been done for us. So I just wanted to point that out. So we're going to move on to step two by transforming the left side to a perfect square trinomial. And that means we're going to divide the coefficient of x, which in this case is negative 10, and we're going to divide it by 2. So I'm going to write it out to the side here in red. So negative 10 divided by 2 is going to be negative 5. It says then we're going to take the result, which is negative 5, and we're going to square it. All right. So negative 5 squared is positive 25. And so we're going to add 25 to both sides. So that means we have x squared minus 10x plus 25 equal to plus 25, right? And once we add it to both sides, now it's asking us to solve, okay? So we're going to solve and say we have x squared minus 10x plus 25 equal 2 plus 25 is 27. All right. We are going to first solve this by putting it into factors, right? So this is now a perfect square. So we know that negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25, which is what we got here. But negative 5 minus 5 equals negative 10, which is what we got here. So that means we can write our terms as x minus 5 times x minus 5, which is the same thing as x minus 5 squared. So x minus 5 squared is equal to 27. We're still in the step 3 phase where we're solving to get x by itself. And in order to solve something that is squared, we have to do the inverse, which is find the square root. All right, so the square root of x minus 5 squared is x minus 5. All right, and the square root of 27, we can find that by doing a factor tree, right? So we would say 27, we can chop it up 3 times 9, and then 9 is chopped up with 3 times 3. Remember, the square root indicates two of something, it's a pair. So the pair comes out because in actuality, this would give us 3 times the square root of 3. All right. So now the square root of 27 is 3 times the square root of 3. And we're not done because we are still trying to get x by itself. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. Now remember, we cannot add 5 to the square root to 3 times the square root of 3 because it's not like terms. So we would end up with 5 plus or minus the square 3 times the square root of 3. And you could also write it as x equals 5 plus 3 times the square root of 3 and 5 minus 3 times the square root of 3. Any one of you could either do it this way or you would have to do both of these. All right.